It's going. Whenever. Yep.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching our final weapons video. So in all of our previous videos we have put out everything we need to for our white belt sword curriculum. So if you watch those videos, you will now know everything that a white belt sword needs to know. Right? So today we got something special for you. It's going to be more of a fun video, not necessarily one of the weapons that we're going to try to start here. So today we're going to do some nunchucks. When it comes to the nunchuck, the mentality between that and the sword is completely opposite. The sword is a very controlled, precise weapon. Nunchucks are very random. As you use the nunchucks, you're going to hit yourself. So I recommend some elbow pads, maybe a sparring helmet even if you're doing a lot of work above the shoulders. That way you prevent any serious injury. When it comes to the grip of the nunchuck, you want to grab towards the top of it, but not at the very top. So for me, it's about half a hand length down. Most of the time, it'll be about where the nunchuck hangs. I'm going to grab right about there, which is good. Now I can grab it and get a good grip this way, as well as still be controlled on it. If you're too far to the end, you don't have the same control level that you want. And again, if you're too high, then the chain's going to be scraping your knuckles, and that's not going to be very fun. When you use the nunchuck, the motions of the nunchuck, the way that you get power with it is by spinning the nunchuck. Now when you spin the nunchuck, you don't want to keep your wrist and your arm rigid as you kind of spin the nunchuck here. There's less control over it. So as you spin the nunchuck, you want to move your wrist as well. In whatever motion, your wrist flows with the nunchuck. Right? If you hold your wrist steady and you just go for the swings, it's not going to work as well. You need to keep a fluid wrist. So a little different from the sword, wrists are going to be moving a lot. So the basic motions with the nunchucks are all in a figure 8 motion. So it's going to be on one side, back and forth. The common one is an up and down figure 8 from side to side. So take the nunchuck and you can swing, and then it's going to go either side, back and forth. Start out practicing really wide as you do it, and then as you get comfortable with it, bring it in close. The closer you can get it, the more controlled that it's going to be. As you bring it in closer, you can also speed it up a little bit. As you get more comfortable with it, practice bringing it in closer, speeding it up. The other one that you can do is not a figure 8 motion, but it's an overhand spin this way. This one here is a little more dangerous, you could say, as far as hitting your arm, possibly too close, hitting your chest. You can also do that same motion upside down. You can combo these together. You can go here and here. This one is a very defensive one as far as the motions go. So the nunchuck, if you're engaged and you're actually trying to use it, what you want to do is to build some space between you and your opponent. You could stand here and you could figure 8 in front of you, and that kind of makes him back away as you have the nunchuck spinning in front of you. As far as striking with the nunchuck goes, you want the nunchuck as far away from you when you strike as possible, for the reason being is it's not a solid piece. As soon as you hit, that's going to bounce back off of it. So if it's too close, it's going to hit your target, it's going to bounce off of that, come back and hit you, hit your knuckles, and then you're both now getting injured by the nunchucks, and that's bad. We don't want that to happen. So as you do the strike, you want it to be as far away from you as possible. So after you perform the strike, if you were to say miss the strike, or you're not actually aiming at a target, what you're going to be doing is the nunchuck is then going to come in close to you. It's actually going to touch your body. What this does is this keeps the nunchuck, it takes away from the power of it. So as I swing, the most common strike is an over-the-shoulder downward cross. Bring it in close to your body so that the top part of the handle that you have a grip on is going to touch your body. That is going to keep the end of the nunchuck, where the most of the power is coming from, it's going to keep that from hitting your body, and it's going to give you a good stop of the technique. So from here, it comes across, out, and then back in to the point where it touches my body, and then it's not going to hit you at all. If you stop it too close here, then you're going to be hitting yourself, and that's not going to be fun. The most common striking drill is what is called a triplet drill. So it's going to start on the shoulder and it's going to do that downward motion. From here, it's going to come across the body this way. This one here is very close. It's not actually a striking motion. You wouldn't extend it out this way, so you want to keep that one close. Then the next one is going to be an upward strike, which is going to go to your shoulder. This one here is probably the one where you're going to start hitting your head a little bit. So all three of them together, the triplet's going to go 1, 2, 3, and you can keep it going back and forth. All right. As you do it, if you want to add a little bit of flair to the stock, you can catch it in your arm underneath. So after the triplet has been performed, kick it underneath and grab it on your arm. That's going to take a little bit of practice to get used to. You're going to hit your elbow a couple of times on that one, so just be aware that that's going to happen. So the last thing that we're going to talk about today is switching hands with the nunchucks. If you're only using one nunchuck, you can trade back and forth with your hands. That way you still you can practice both sides. Once you get comfortable with both sides, you can start practicing with multiple nunchucks. And then it's like starting over from scratch. You're going to be hitting yourself again, and it's going to be quite a bit of practice to get used to wielding two at the same time. When it comes to switching nunchucks, you want to still grab it in that same hand grip position with the same distance that you have from both of them. So the most common one of the hand switches is straight out in front of you. Right? So as it goes in front of you, you simply grab here, then you can bring it back, and this one can be done back and forth to practice the switch. The other one is behind the back, so you can take this one and it now goes behind the back. On this one, you got to really be aware of where the nunchuck is going. It takes a little bit more practice to kind of know where it's going to end up as you do it. So it goes behind, catch, and then back to the front, and then you can catch. So you can combo these together and you can practice this drill over and over again. You can keep it going, speed it up, get used to it. As you perform a lot of the handoffs with the nunchuck from one hand to the next, you're not going to be looking at the nunchuck. You want to kind of get used to where it's going to be. So as I'm here, I'm not staring at my nunchucks because now it's going to go behind my back, and I'm not going to watch it as it goes around to the back. I need to kind of get a feel of where it's going to be. That way I can be ready to go when it needs to be done. The other most common one is a behind the shoulder pass. So this one here, the open hand is going to reach underneath the elbow and the nunchuck is going to come up and across. This one here can also be done with striking. So here, much like an upward strike for the sword, is going to come up and across and then back around to the back. This one here is a little more dangerous. You're going to hit your fingers on it a couple of times as you get used to it. That'll happen less and less. This one can be done over and over again, switching back and forth from each side. And then if you get to this position here and you decide you don't want to use that hand, you can bring it across here and do some other strikes and grabs. So thanks for watching our weapons videos. We hope to get a weapons program started here pretty soon. If not, just a series of some seminars that we can really get in-depth practice. If you enjoyed our videos, let us know. If you want to do some of these weapons programs, swords, bow staffs are the two that we're really going to be pushing. Come, let us know, and we'll see about getting this started pretty soon. Thanks. Bye.